The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans. It is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. The Ride Home Rants podcast wants to thank you for listening and let everybody know that we do offer monthly subscriptions to help support the show in other ways other than listening and downloading each episode. What you will get with each subscription is you will get bonus episodes that aren't released to everybody. You will also have a chance to ask me anything each and every month where I will put out a special episode just to answer your questions. You will also get more exclusive content that is not released to everybody. To subscribe to the show, go and click on the link in the description of this episode, and I look forward to your added support and to help us keep this show going. The Ride Home Rants podcast is also brought to you by Buddy's Beard Care. Buddy's Beard Care provides premium men's grooming products at an affordable price. Products are made in Ohio, and Buddy's Beard Care supports local. The majority of our supplies are from other Ohio-based companies. You can find them on social media at Buddy's Beard Care or online at buddysbeardcare.com. Use the promo code BONO15 and he will save you 15%. I've been using these products for a little over 6 months now, and my beard has never felt healthier, it has never grown faster, and according to my wife, it has never felt softer. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by former guest of the show in Matt Landowski in Sweet Hands Sports. Elevate their game with Sweet Hands Sports. Our sports gloves are designed for champions, providing ultimate grip and durability. Achieve greatness with every match. Choose Sweet Hands Sports for the winning edge. Grip your victory at sweethandsports.com. Use the promo code BONO10 and he will save you 10%. He has sent me a complimentary pair of golf gloves. They are so comfortable, durable, and breathable. You won't find a better pair of gloves out there. Again, sweethandsports.com, promo code BONO10. Lastly, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Deemed Fit, a clothing company from first responders for first responders. These products are so comfortable. They look great. They have great messages on them. They are provided to support first responders, especially those who worked through COVID. All of the proceeds are going to helping veterans and first responders with their mental and physical health. This is a great cause. I support anything that has to do with our first responders and our veterans. Again, deemedfit.co, promo code Mike Bono will save you 20%. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a great guest for us today. He comes to us all the way from the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, and that is John Middleton, who joins the show. John, thanks for joining, brother.
Hey, great to be here, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Hey, not a problem at all. Like I said, you're from the suburbs of Cleveland originally in Mentor. What was it like growing up in one of the biggest suburbs of Cleveland and being that close to the city?
It was really cool, being close to Cleveland and me being a big sports fan. It just really made it feel personal, with sports, the heartache. But Cleveland to me is just very special to me, and being that close is great. I mean, commute wise, easy to get downtown. and it's just a great area to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things from the Mentor area. I've done a lot of comedy shows in the Mentor area, so I love getting to go up there and do shows there too as well. It's always fun. It's always a great crowd too as well. Haven't been able to get into the big city of Cleveland yet. I am still working on that too as well, but loved Cleveland every time I've gone up there. Like I said, I have no bad experiences so far up in Cleveland. And being a sports fan, when you mentioned heartache, I am a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. So if that tells you anything about heartache, I've learned from pretty much the best of the best growing up near the Pittsburgh area. But Cleveland didn't have that great of a team before in the heydays either, too, as well. So I definitely understand that, being a big sports fan and loving your city no matter what.
Yeah, you have to be loyal. I cannot go away from my hometown. It's just I've known people to do that, especially with the football. I plenty of people that will root for the Guardians / Indians, and then they love the Steelers because the Steelers are just a good organization. They win, and people got tired of the Browns being just, they've been absolutely awful since they came back to the NFL. They had one little stretch with Baker Mayfield, but other than that, it's been tough. So yeah, but I'm loyal through and through. No matter what, I can't shift gears and go elsewhere.
I understand that 100%. Like I said, I grew up about an hour outside of Pittsburgh in a little town in West Virginia. And with there being no pro sports teams in West Virginia, it's got a fair game. But growing up that close to the stadium, I always root for the Pittsburgh teams, especially the Steelers. But I am a Buccaneers fan by trade. So thank you to the Cleveland Browns for letting us have him. I think that was probably the dumbest decision they've made, and letting him go elsewhere. Worked out for us so far, so I can't complain about that one bit. So for sure, but yeah, I know Cleveland. Yeah, that stint with Baker, that's the last I can remember in my 36 years of being around that they were relevant in the NFL.
Yeah, they really had a good thing going there, and I'm not sure what went wrong, but Mayfield he's a gutsy guy, and there's no doubt in Tampa he's just got weapons. He's flourishing there, and good for him. I liked him, and I was disappointed when things didn't work out, but that's one of many bad decisions the Browns have made since they came back. I mean, and what can you say about the Watson debacle? It's terrible. And I'm not really, the Browns, to me, when I was younger, Bernie Kosar, the 80s was when I was really into the Browns, and I can't even express my heartache with that time period, with the drive, the fumble, all that. Mm-hmm. That was gut wrenching to me.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, it seems like when you're a fan of a team, you feel the heartaches of the team when there's things like that happen too as well, for sure. I get that through and through. I love sports to death. I got a degree in sports journalism and broadcasting, so that was the plan for me to go into that realm. Lo and behold, 13 years later, I'm doing stand-up comedy. So, I definitely understand that too as well. But I still root for the teams like as if, I was a little kid and watching them growing up. It's fun, win or lose to me. I love all things sports for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the Pirates, I can remember when I was younger, when they had Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla, they were good. And I remember the Willie Stargell days. I'm old enough to remember that. They were good. I mean, the Pirates now are a small market, but they had success, and sports have changed a lot to where now everyone is just throwing money around, and there's no baseball. They just let the big market teams dominate, and
100%.
That's frustrating as a Guardians fan. And I'm sure you being a Pirate fan, it's hard to compete. It really is.
It really is, unless these owners are really going to, like, I know it's crazy to me to think that Pittsburgh's a small market team in baseball, which, because I would think it would be one of the bigger market teams just growing up in that city and knowing that all it's about and everything like that. I mean, I understand it, but I don't get it. But it's just like, at some point you got to see what these other big market teams are doing. It's like, all right, maybe we spend a little bit of money and see what happens. We don't, spend all of it and do what they're doing, but let's spend a little bit of money and let's see, can we get to being a little bit more relevant, and is this worth it for us, or do we just like I bring it back to the old school movie Major League? Do we try to do that with, basically not having the funds to trying to do it and trying to find these unknown rookies that are willing to come in and, work their way through the farm club and come up and want to work for this team and this organization? That's kind of what I think should happen. I had a whole episode on here about the MLB, and that we got into a absolutely super long debate about the money in baseball. And it's crazy, the money that's in baseball. But it's just to the point now where, it's the old adage, you got to spend money to make money. I never liked that growing up. It's like, well, if you don't have the money to spend, like, you can't spend the money to make the money. But no, you can absolutely spend the money and find a way, if you don't have it, to then eventually make the money. So you don't have to worry about that. But, you went to Mentor High School, getting a little bit off track here about you and talking sports, because I could talk about that all day. But Mentor was, which is one of the biggest high schools in the state of Ohio, which is great. So what was it like going to such a massive high school like that?
Well, sorry to say this, Mike. I don't know where that. I went to Kirtland High School, which is really very close to Mentor. Okay. Kirtland is a small school, but I was fully aware of Mentor being one of the biggest in the state. But I went to Kirtland, graduated in '88, and we only had barely over 100 kids in our class, and I loved it. You knew everyone. It was a great community, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And but yeah, I lived in Mentor for a number of years, and enjoyed that too. That was a great experience living in Mentor. But yeah, Kirtland High School was. I'm a Hornet.
This is why I always need to double check Johnny's facts that he gives me most of the time, because he said it with so much confidence to me that I was like, yeah, there's no way this is wrong. There's no way that he was that wrong.
I know me and Johnny have definitely talked about that I went to Kirtland. Oh yeah, Kirtland, great football school, and like, yeah. So yeah, sorry, Johnny.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna give him so much hell for that. Just gonna say, anytime I can, I'd like to, because it's just in my nature. But well, sorry about that. So Kirkland, Went to, it was a smaller school. I mean, I grew up in West Virginia. At the time, Brooke High School was one of the bigger schools in the state, and I still only graduated with like 300 people. Mm-hmm. So not a huge school, but by West Virginia standards, one of the bigger schools in the state. So I get that though, because I mean, it still was a close knit, I guess, community. Like it was there for you. Everybody knew everybody, and everybody was pretty much friends with everybody. It was just that kind of tight knit thing. Like it was a small school, like what you went through there, being a Hornet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was great. I mean, like I said, pretty much neighbors with Mentor, so fully a whole Mentor thing, and I definitely appreciated going to a smaller school, and that was good for me personally.
Yeah. 100%. I even went to Bethany College, which was a smaller college, Division III. The whole school had a grand total of 900 people and students in it. So I liked it because all of my professors knew my name. They didn't know me as student 165423, whatever the number on your ID was. which most of these big universities is that's what you're known as, from what I've come to gather. And not only did they know who I was, they knew that I was a swimmer. Most of them came to support their students at the athletic events, and they also knew that everyone called me Mike Bono and not Michael Bonaventura, and they would call me that in class, which I thought was pretty cool that they knew a nickname for me.
Yeah.
And that's just that, and that they were willing to help and they were willing to get to know their students, which I thought was awesome.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah, there's something to be said about that.
100%. And you being a proud dad of two kids, I'm hoping he got this right too as well. But they are both Ohio State grads. What was it like sending them and visiting, to such a big university?
To me, it was really cool because going back to the sport thing, I loved Ohio State. I'm a big Ohio State football fan. So when my kids decided, or my son was the first to go there, and no pressure, didn't say a word to him. He just did his own thing. It was so cool. When he went there, I was able to go to a Ohio State football game with him, and it was just a great experience. So yeah, my kids going there was awesome. And you just experienced the whole thing in person, because just growing up, being a big Buckeye fan, never went there, saw it on TV, but just getting the firsthand look at it was really cool. And it was a great experience for my kids going to Ohio State. Being a big school, they flourished there. It was a good thing for them socially and, academically too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great university. They have a great football program. I'm not personally an Ohio State fan by any means. And it's weird because I live 45 minutes away from the stadium in Ohio, near Columbus. And I am surrounded by Buckeye fans.
They can be annoying, right?
They can be. I think that's part of the reason why I'm not the biggest Ohio State fan. And, growing up in West Virginia, it was always the Mountaineers for me. That was our big school. That's our Ohio State, if you will.
Right.
And I had some buddies that, when WVU went through their little slumps and Ohio State really started to flourish and started winning their national championships, they like jumped ship and they're like, "Oh, I've been a Buckeye fan I was like, no, I've known you since we were in diapers. No, you haven't." Like,
Yeah.
It was one of those. And I think that's what started. And it all stems down to I'm selfish and they're such a good program and they're so good that it angers me. That's essentially it. They're a well-oiled machine, and it just kind of is frustrating as a sports fan to just see a team be just so dominant all the time.
Yeah, they really have a good thing going there, and they're good at other sports, of course, but they're definitely known for football. And, they've had their ups and downs. I mean, they've had a reputation of not getting the job done against big teams. They can do well against the Big Ten, do good in some bowl games, but when they get to the SEC teams, they struggle.
Yeah.
I'm still not sold on Ryan Day.
No.
I'm not a big fan of his. I'm thrilled that they won the national championship, but if you can't beat Michigan, I'm sorry. That is just a no-no for me.
That was going to be 100% where I was going to go next. Like when talking about Ryan Day, like if you're not beating Michigan, you could win the national championship every year, and the city of Columbus will riot for your job to be taken. And I'm 3 years now, I think 4 years in a row. You lose to Michigan, and like you still have your job. I know you're winning national championships, and that's important. I'm not downplaying that in any way, shape, or form. But being your biggest rival, I don't watch Ohio State games. I watch that game every year, the Ohio State Michigan, and I don't like either school. And I don't care who's on. I am watching Ohio State Michigan, and it's a riveting game. It's always an exciting game. And you can't get the job done. And it hasn't been high scoring games like you're used to seeing in the Big Ten.
Right.
It's been close, grind them out games. And that says something about a coach, in my opinion, regardless of who you're playing. If you can't win these close, grind them out games, that says something, because when you get into the college football playoff, that they're all going to be these close grind amount games.
Yeah, I wanted him out, especially when you had a home game. You had Michigan pretty much a 500 team on the ropes. You could have just went in there and whacked them, and they fell into the trap of what Michigan wanted, was in the trenches type game. And we had explosive guys on the ends, and we just played into their hands, and that was torture. That is one sporting event that I become a different person when I watch. Michigan, Ohio State, and it is agonizing, Mike. Just seeing them lose year after year. I mean, I didn't like Harbaugh one bit, but I give Harbaugh credit. He figured out the recipe to beat Ohio State.
Yep.
And he left, and the guy that took over followed suit. And I'm just not a Ryan Day fan. And we got to go there next year. We got to go there, and they've got our number. And I don't think we're bringing back the talent that we had. So 5 years, I don't know if I can watch it.
It's going to be tough to watch as an Ohio State fan for sure next year. Michigan has the recipe. They have the talent coming back. The people that are leaving Ohio State, you're losing Will Howard. You're losing who was that went to the Steelers too as well? Swinski, the edge rusher.
Sawyer.
Sawyer. You're losing him. You're losing all those big receivers. Right. You're losing a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, which is where you've struggled against Michigan, is putting points on the board.
Yeah. I'm just not crazy about the outlook. I mean, they have to get tough in the middle. They got to get big linemen on both sides and win that battle. It's brutal.
You got to play an old school. It's going to be a run it down your throat kind of game. It's not going to be this high flying. You got to have the stamina, the conditioning, and the big boys up front to be able to do it. And I don't think Ohio State's built that way.
No. Day's approach is flashy receivers, high scoring games, and does not believe that defense wins championships. And he got lucky. I mean, I'll give him credit. He made a heck of a run. They made an incredible run. I did not think they would do what they did, but it still, to me, does not mean as much as losing to Michigan. And you have a true Ohio State fan. You'll take a 6-6 record, beat Michigan, than all the other garbage that you can throw at it. You have to beat that team. So,
100%. 100%. As a Mountaineer fan, I know it's a long shot every year for us to even make the playoffs. But now that the backyard brawl is back and we're playing Pitt, if we beat Pitt, we could go 1-9 or 1 in whatever. And that one win being against Pitt, it's a winning season for the Mountaineer fans. We beat Pitt. We beat our biggest rival, the backyard brawl. We can brag about this for a year.
Yeah.
And that's what true fans are looking for. Yes, the national championships and making the playoffs. And I think the 12-team playoff is going to be, once they figure out the seeding and how that's going to work, I think it's going to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's talks of them expanding it past 16. That's just going to be too much, in my opinion. I think 12 is the magic number. I never thought that at first, but now that I kind of see how it played out for a year, I think that's the magic number, is 12 teams.
Yeah, where do you draw the line? How many damn teams you want in it?
I think I've heard talks of they want to make it like March Madness. I was like, that's too much for college football.
Football, for God's sakes, not basketball. You can play multiple games in a period of time, but football is brutal. You can't have those guys do that to their bodies.
No, you would have to severely shorten the regular season.
Yeah, these guys are sitting out bowl games. You think they're going to play 3-4 games for a national championship? There's no way.
No, if I did, like some of these guys, I could possibly be a high first round pick in the draft. I'm going to risk getting hurt and dropping to the 6th, 7th, God forbid, an unsigned free agent, an undrafted free agent, and lose out on a lot of money. Like, for them, like that's their livelihood, that's their career.
Absolutely.
So I as a fan, it frustrates me. to see players sit out of bowl games. But as the sports broadcaster in me, that seeing the job and wanting to go into that as that aspect of it, I get it. You have a chance to make millions upon millions of dollars playing the game that you love, that you've been playing since you were 8 years old. Yeah, I'm going to make sure I can do everything I can to be in the draft and relevant.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's hard to say. As time went on, I understood that decision. As a fan, you want to see him play, but yeah, I agree. You got to go for it. You can't risk injuries too much.
100%. I mean, you can kind of understand. I mean, you've worked at the same company. Again, Biddy's stats here for around 35 years, which is incredible to think anymore that somebody's worked at a career that long. Tell us about your job and your longevity at that company.
Yeah, I'm a visual dimensional inspector at CRT, Component Repair Technologies, and boy, it's been a heck of a journey. When I was in high school, no direction. I went to community college. I really had no vision of what I wanted to do, and I was working for a landscape company. My cousin worked at CRT, and he told me that they're hiring, and I was like, all right, why not? And it was a shock to the system being in a factory. In those days, it was like a factory. But once the light went on and I figured things out, the rest is history. And it's been great. I did other departments leading up to being a visual dimensional inspector, and probably going on 25 of those 33 years has been an inspector. And it's just a great position because it's clean overall, temperature controlled, and you just get the whole look of the parts that we work on. We overhaul jet engine parts for major airlines, and it's just a great experience. Good people to work around, and you learn a lot. And yeah, it's hard to believe time does fly, as people say. It's blink of an eye. You can't believe where you're at. But yeah, overall, the experience has been great. And yeah, longevity is not the norm now. People are chasing, whatever they can get. They'll leave a job for a couple bucks just to jump ship. I've been loyal, and it's been worth it. And, at my age now, I'm not going anywhere, but CRT's been good to me.
Yeah, like I said, it's incredible to think somebody's been, at a place that long. Because like you said, everyone, they kind of like jump ship. They're chasing the buck, if you will.
Yeah.
I know I got a good thing going here, but if I go here, I can make $2 more an hour. And, that's significant enough to them to move and start over and be at the bottom of the totem pole again somewhere else and try to, you just don't see people willing to work their way up into a company.
Right.
Now I've been doing comedy 13 years. That's not a traditional 9 to 5, like clocking in at a place. That is all on me. I don't have a boss to answer to. I don't have a record label, an agent, a manager, anything like that to answer to. It is just me. So I think that's a little different in that, I've been with a company now. Again, I'm on this show. I don't say their names, but it is, a rental car company that, I've been with. And, looking back, it's like, oh, my God, I've almost been there a year. And I feel like I just started. And it's like, oh, August makes a year that I've been with a company. So when you say time flies, it absolutely does.
Yes.
You don't realize how long you've been at a place until you actually sit and think like, oh, wow, I have been there this long.
Yeah.
And I don't think about it till like even, customers ask me, oh, how long have you been here? And it's like, oh, I've been here almost a year now. Yeah, that I have to think about it. But I think when you like a job and you like what you're doing as that job, the time just doesn't seem to matter. It you like you said, you don't realize how long you've been at a place if you enjoy what you're doing.
Right. Yep. That's so important. Yeah. Yeah. You have to be able to get up every day and not dread going in. You have to have a good outlook on things, and then that's probably not too present these days.
I really don't think it is. And as hypocritical as this is for me to say, being that, my other job being a comedian and social media being kind of king for that, I think I blame social media for that. With the rise of that and all these quote unquote content creators getting paid to make social media content, I think it has infected a little bit of the younger generation. Like, oh, I'll just do that. Like, it's that easy to just push a button and all of a sudden you're famous. If it were, I wouldn't have a day job. I'd be doing comedy full time. That's if it was that easy. But 13 years later, and I'm still pushing that button, trying to get it to work. So it's still work. I don't discount what these people do to have to come up with creative ideas day in and day out. As a comedian, I get it. I mean, I'm constantly, forever looking for new material, and to come up with that on a daily basis, it's tough. You have to have a different mindset and to be able to do that. And people look at me all the time. They're like, "Where do you come up with material?" And it's just like I get that question a lot. Luckily, I have a 16-year-old son who is hysterical in some of the stuff that he does. So that's a big help, being a father for sure. Yeah. And it's just, some of the time it's like I just live my daily life, and then I get on stage and I report it, and I hope to God it's funny some of the times. And for the most part, it has been for the past 13 years. So I'm kind of a one-trick pony in that, and I'm sticking with that mentality and rolling with it until it doesn't work anymore. But that
is a long time. That is a long time to be doing that, because you have to be careful nowadays what you say on stage.
That's the biggest thing now. That's the hardest thing is, you have to toe that line. And as a comedian, you got to know when you've crossed it. But a lot of times you don't until you're getting that big laugh, and then you say one more thing, and then the crowd goes silent. Yeah. And it's like, okay, there's the line. There it is. That's, I hope I don't get canceled for that part of it, but everything else was funny up until then. That's the biggest fear for comedians is the cancel culture out there. It's still happening. There's still people that get upset over everything. I don't understand it, because I grew up in a very big, large Italian family and it was a blue collar type of family too. My great grandfather, my grandfather, and my father were all steel mill workers. So I grew up in that, but also, if you weren't going along with the jokes that were happening in the family, you were the joke, and you were going to either get a thicker skin and not be offended by it and start to go along with it and have fun, or you were crying. Like, that was essentially it, because we always crack jokes with everybody. Hell, I still crack jokes with my father all the time, every time I call him, and I see him all the time now. He's shaved his head because he was losing his hair. Every time I see him, I rub his head, and I say, I need a little bit of luck, and I rub his head. Yeah, like that. That's the kind of family I grew up in. We rag on each other, and I think it's helped, I guess, my generation, if you will, have that thicker skin. But I don't think we're getting that anywhere else.
No, and I mean, geez, oh man, why would you go to a comedy show if you're not prepared to hear something a little bit off edge? To make people laugh, you have to challenge a little bit. You got to go with what's going on in the world and everyday topics. I mean,
100%.
You have to laugh a little bit. Jeez, everyone's so uptight. But yeah,
I think if people just laughed more, we would be a much happier society.
No doubt about it. Jeez.
It's just like, and I love it. I do when I'm at a show, and I do, I guess, a quote unquote, a controversial joke that somebody gets offended at, and then they want to scream up on stage like they're going to ruin my act. It's just like, okay, I understand you are 100% entitled to your opinion and your feelings. Here's the thing. I'm a comedian. I'm joking. And you just interrupted me at doing my job. I have a microphone. You were all in proximity to this speaker system, and I'm going to ruin your night now. Like, now you've just made it my personal goal because everyone else is laughing but you. So you're ruining it for everybody else here. So now I'm going to ruin your night. And I'm going to push that button until you leave because you're not going to enjoy the show. And like that's me as a comedian. And everyone else normally gets an even bigger laugh at it because what people realize, these hecklers don't realize, is when they're heckling and everyone else is laughing, they're ruining the show for everybody else. So when the comedian starts to hone in on that person and pick on them and heckle back at them, the crowd loves it because now we're finding out the problem and they love to hear somebody that is trying to ruin it for everybody else get it ruined for just them.
Yeah, you're weeding out the trouble. Get them out and enjoy the rest of the show. Do your thing.
The nice thing is when you work these comedy clubs, like there is somebody that stands in the back of the room who their sole job, I mean, it is security. Like they will give you a look up on stage and you can just be like, yeah, okay, I've had enough. Get them out. Yeah. And they'll remove them. It's nice to have that. Now, where I'm at, it's still considered being an up-and-coming comedian. I don't have that all the time, so I just have to do what I do and just make it so unbearable for them that they just leave. And everyone else enjoys it.
Yep. Good for you. That's awesome.
I mean, it's funny because I got dubbed the angry white comic 13 years ago by a buddy of mine who was hosting open mic nights, which is where I got my start. And I would just go on like these long filled rants on stage about my day and working in customer service and the people that I've dealt with and some of the stupid questions that I would get asked on a daily basis. And he dubbed me the angry white comic. And lo and behold, 13 years later, I'm still known as the angry white comic. So, yeah, you're going to a show where the guy is known as that and you think it's going to end well for you. Like, it's really not. I promise you, it's not going to ruin your night.
Yeah. If you buy a ticket, you should have some awareness of who you're seeing and what their reputation is.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I have this show here, which is why it's called Ride Home Rants. Yeah. Because I go on rants. And it is heard by over 16,000 people in over 60 countries. Like, if you don't know by now who you're buying a ticket for, it's just your fault.
Absolutely. Shame on you.
Yeah, this is 100% your fault. I take no blame for this at all. And I hope at that point, I hope I ruined your night.
Right.
I hope I did.
And man, good for you with the audience. You have a nice audience there, Mike.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been 5 years of working at this show here now. In December makes a full 5 years for us. We are in the 5th season of the show. So it has been a work in progress, but I love every minute of this and this podcast and everything like that. I never thought I'd be the podcast guy either. But lo and behold, COVID taught me a lot about what needs to happen in the realm of comedy and everything like that. And I never thought, I thought honestly, I was like, I'll give it a try. I'll probably put out like 2 episodes and then get bored with it. And then just, it won't do what I think it's going to do. And I will just call it quits and focus my energy on something else. And no, I've dived full-fledged into this and I love it.
That's awesome. Good for you. It's
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
I did mention too, being from a big, Italian family, though, your family's from Scotland, and you actually recently had, a chance to visit there a few times. What's Scotland like? I've never really been out of the country, so I always love to hear everybody's uh, takes on what it's like in other countries.
It is incredible scenery, and just going there, I've been there twice, and the last time I went was last summer with my kids. Just incredible. Just, I have so much family out there because my parents came over in 62, 63. They came over to the United States. So they were one of the few that came over. So just knowing that I have so much family over there makes that trip so much easier. But a lot to see. The scenery is beautiful. The highlands, the bodies of water, just incredible. And we were out there last year for over a week and saw so much. Saw the family, and just amazing to think. What my parents sacrificed to come over to the United States, and I appreciate that, and I hope to go over there several more times just to see more. There's so much to see out there. The history there is amazing, and incredible trip. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a bucket list for my wife and I. She's full Irish, I'm full Italian. We want to visit Italy and Ireland at some point in our lives.
Got to do it, Mike. I mean,
that has been
Dublin. You can go right into Dublin with Aer Lingus. Aer Lingus is right into Dublin, and I'd recommend it, Mike.
Yeah, 100%. It is, like I said, it is on our bucket list of things to do. The only problem with that is right now is my wife she always dives into the culture for the Irish and Italian now, marrying an Italian and seeing my family in that. She's afraid that if she goes to Ireland, she's never going to want to come back. That's the problem with her. Once she gets to the homeland, she's never going to want to come back. And I get it. It looks beautiful. I would love to see it. And I kind of have the same fear about Italy. Like, I'm going to get there and I'm just going to love it so much that it's like, I just live here now. This is not going home.
Yeah. So affordable. You hear about people buying properties out in Italy for so little. It's amazing. I mean, so much to see in Italy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will get there someday.
I hope we do. For sure. It is one of the top thing on if we don't do anything else on our bucket list, this is the one thing that we are doing. No matter what we have to do. So it will happen. I'm very big into speaking things into existence. I keep just saying, it's not if we go, it's when we go. So that's where I'm at with that. But I've always wanted to visit those countries at all. And especially because I know I still have family over there, and looking up my ancestry, knowing that I am, Sicilian.
Mm-hmm.
Visiting there and knowing that I have family there is a big thing for me, and wanting to go and essentially find them where they actually live at in Sicily. I think would just be a cool journey.
Oh, and they'll show you everything. I'm sure they will be so accommodating. You'll love the experience, no doubt about it.
100%. Yeah, I can't wait to make it happen there. For sure. Have you been in when you just visited Scotland, there weren't any concerts there? Because I've heard you've been to a couple of concerts that had different venues over the years. Has there been any artists that you've seen, either whether it's in the States or outside the country, that you've been at and that had a great experience at, or any special venues or anything like that?
Well, when I went to Europe, we went to London, we went to Scotland, and we went to France. That was the first venture, and then the last time we went, it was just Scotland, and we went to Liverpool, but no big events out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just strictly one time with CRT. I did go to France at CRT, and that was really awesome to do that, because that was just strictly France, and we got to see some sights and did the work thing, and it was a good balance. But yeah, no big events out there, but just the history and the scenery was just incredible.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely love that, and that you get those opportunities, especially even though it's a work trip. I know they like, okay, we're in France, like this is a work trip, but people are going to want to see some sights. They're going to want to venture around a little bit. We can't make it all about work. Get the work done and then be able to have fun. I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
For sure.
Ryder Cup. I missed a Ryder Cup. Was when I went to France at work. The Ryder Cup already went on, and of course the United States lost, as they usually do on foreigns. But that was cool. We were so close to the course, we actually did walk around the course, and I took some pictures of that, because that would have been a great experience to see that.
Yeah, and I hear you're a big golf guy too as well. Is that one of the favorite courses that you visited or even got to play at, or do you have a favorite course that you visited or played at?
Well, being from Scotland, my family being from Scotland, St. Andrews was the birthplace of golf. When we did go in July, we went to St. Andrews and took a picture on the bridge. That was phenomenal. I did see the Ryder Cup in Kentucky. And that was on U.S. soil, and that was outstanding. That was a victory for the United States. So, yeah, I do love golf. The Masters, to me, is, through the years, I have just grown an affection for the Masters. I will take that over any sporting event. I can watch the Masters from start to finish. I love golf. I mean, football now to me is not that big of a deal, since the Browns are so bad, kind of transitioned into golf. But yeah, I love the Masters. I used to play golf. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I follow it. Yeah, the Masters is awesome, and just outstanding to see that in person. The Ryder Cup is so intense.
Oh yeah, the Masters is probably one of the only golf tournaments that I will watch from start to finish and follow from start to finish. I'll catch the last couple days of most of the tournaments just to kind of see where everybody's at. I like golf. Wish I could get out and play more. Schedule doesn't quite allow me, but big golf guy here too as well. Actually, two of the sponsors of my show are golf related, which I think is phenomenal. Everybody, so Shank It to Golf for everybody, the newer listeners out there, check them out for sure, because they have a lot of great golf apparel. And they are golf apparel for the everyday person. You're not going to go out and shoot like a 6 under par. You're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but you're going to look good while you're doing it. I can tell you, I can promise you that. The fits are phenomenal there. Yeah. And one of my buddies has his own golf line and golf glove line that he does too as well. And Matt Landowski and Sweet Hands Sports. Check both of them out. You'll find all the links in the description of this episode too as well. Promo codes will be there, save you some money too as well. But yeah, I love everything about golf. And I noticed, like you said, as I'm getting older, I'm drawn more to golf. I think I don't know if that's just like a part of getting older as a man. You just get more and more drawn to golf, and just a calming, relaxing sport, and being able to something to follow where it's It's not a lot of high energy. I don't want to say it's not high energy because it has its moments, but it's not like football where there's action all the time and people are just getting taken out where all the time. It's a nice change of pace, I think, for most people.
I enjoy golf just because you're on your own. You have no support. It is all up to you. You are hitting a ball that is not moving. And yeah, it's not a team game besides a Ryder Cup, obviously, but still, ultimately, you are on your own with that. But yeah, I just golf to me is just so special. I used to enjoy it. I hope to get back into it, but I follow it, and it's definitely so relaxing if you take that approach. There's so much to see. Beautiful courses out there.
100%. I would love to get to more courses than the ones I've been to. But yeah, like I said, golf is like you said, it's relaxing, but it's just you out there. And I think growing up as a competitive swimmer too, as well, I kind of relate to that a little bit more because it was just me in the pool. I know, obviously, relays, like you said with the Ryder Cup, relays were a team. But at the end of the day, you're the one in the water, and there's no one there to help you.
Right.
So I kind of think that helps me a lot with golf too as well. And I don't know if we have enough time on the show to talk about that in sports all day long, because I just looked at how long we've been talking here, John. We are running down near the end of the episode here, and I have one more segment I got to get in before we get off of here. And for the new listeners out there, that is the Fast 55. It is 5 random questions from the wonderful manager of the podcast, Johnny Fitty Falcone. John, I know you are. John, I know you know Johnny pretty well. I don't know if you've gotten personally to hear some of the random questions that he comes up with on a daily basis, but these are kind of rapid fire. You can elaborate if you need to. They have nothing to do with what we've been talking about for the better part of an hour now. So if you are ready, we'll go ahead and do the Fast 55.
Let's do it.
All righty. Question number 1, is Las Vegas overrated or underrated?
Oh, God. Vegas it's awesome. I love Vegas. It's not overrated, underrated. It's good shit, man.
So you're saying it's perfect as is?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. All righty. Question number 2, should every house have a shed or is a big garage good enough?
I would lean towards a bigger garage.
Yeah, I'm a garage guy myself. I wish I had one now. I don't. But garage, you can't go wrong with a good big garage.
Heck yeah.
Question.
What the hell? Want any more structures than you need?
100%. Question number 3, is Tom Hanks or Al Pacino a better actor?
Boy,
that's a tough one.
Tom Hanks is pretty damn good, but I thank God we have not gone political, but Tom Hanks is a little lower on my list based on recent news stories, but I would still go Tom Hanks.
I get it, and the inner Paisan in me can't go against Pacino, but it's a very close one for me, just strictly on acting.
Oh God!
For that's a coin flip for me, honestly, with both of those two.
Yeah.
Question number 4. Oh Lord, who's the Browns' best quarterback of all time?
Otto Graham, no brainer to me.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
Never saw all, but Otto Graham. Championships is all it's all about. Championships.
100%. And last question here. Are propane or charcoal grills better?
Damn. I'm lazy, so I'd go with propane, but I know a burger tastes a hell of a lot better with charcoal.
You're not wrong. I've had both. I've gotten lazy. I have a propane grill now. Propane's quick. It's easier than charcoal, but you're right. Nothing tastes better than when you get that charcoal flavor to it. So yeah, I'd have to go charcoal, but the laziness in me, honestly, is propane for that one. But that was the Fast 55. Like I said, he was a little bit more mild of questions than what we normally get from Johnny on that. He comes up with some real zingers, and none of them make sense. I've been getting this since I've known him since college, and I've been getting these questions literally since college. And normally he comes up with these weird scenario type questions, like, all right, you're locked into racquetball court. It's you, Batman, a gorilla, and Conor McGregor. You have a racquetball, a set of road flares, and a boxing glove. Who comes out alive?
Wow.
Like, those are the types of things that run through this man's head. And he would ask me them all the time. Like, he would just text me these random questions. And one day I was just like, hey, man, what if we just made a segment on the show where literally we'll call it the Fast 55. We'll make it rapid fire, but it's literally your questions that you ask on a daily basis, and we'll ask the guests these questions. He was like, oh, my God, I love that idea. And lo and behold, we've been doing it for 4 years now.
Wow.
And he keeps coming up with new questions every single week, and I love it.
Well, I can thank Johnny. That was not too difficult, but still, it made me think a little bit. So
Yeah.
good.
We like to give a little bit of brain teasers near the end of the show and have a fun way to end the show. But John, like I said, we are running down near the end of the episode, and I do give every guest this opportunity at the end of the show. If there's anything you want to get out there, if there's anything you want to promote, whether it's your work or even if it's just a good message to get out there, I'm going to give you about a minute, and the floor is yours.
Wow, Mike, I was not prepared for that. I really had a great time on the show. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I had somewhat of an idea what to expect, but it's been a great experience. You asked great questions, good interacting with you. I don't have a message that'll be memorable, but you got to approach life in a good way, a positive way, take things as they happen and learn from it, grow from it. And I think I'm rambling on. I don't know if you want to edit this part, but I've had a great time talking with you. It's been a great experience, and you made it real easy for me. So I appreciate that, Mike. And I hope all your guests feel the same way.
Not a problem, man. We appreciate having you on. It was great to talk to you for sure, and get to basically shoot the shit with you for about an hour here. And it's pretty easy when you got two sports fans and you can kind of dive into that world and make it easy for sure. I love getting to talk to new people and getting to meet them and to see what they have. And, I do like the message that you gave there at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, positivity and, just attacking life in a positive way can only make things better. And failure, it does not mean you lost. It just means you learned something, is what I take from the message. And you learn every day. And if you learn something new, then good for you. You made the day great because you learned something new. And that's the way I think. And I wish a lot of people had that mentality. And I'm glad you mentioned it too, especially at the end of the show. I'm all about helping people promote things, but when they have a good message to end the show, I love that even more. But that is actually going to do it here for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. Again, I want to thank my guest, John Middleton, for joining the show. Again, a lot of fun to get to talk to you and get to learn a little bit more about you. And as always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week.
The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Dubby Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.